Don't forget that you're not my first choice, just the reliable one, she said during a fight. I said, okay, and the fight ended. She thought she'd won. I moved out 3 days later while she was at work, leaving a note. Now you're not my first choice either. Or my second. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. And if you have your own story to share, send it to me. My contact info is in the description below. I'd love to feature it in an upcoming video. Thanks. Hey Reddit, I've been lurking here for ages, reading all those wild relationship stories, but I never thought I'd have one of my own to share. This happened about a year ago, and honestly, it still feels surreal sometimes. But with the holidays rolling around again, I figured it was time to get it off my chest. Maybe it'll help someone else spot the red flags sooner than I did. Buckle up, this one's got betrayal, quiet exits, and some seriously ironic karma. I'll try to keep it straightforward, but fair warning, it's a bit long. A little background first. I'm Ryan, 32 now, working in software development for a mid-sized tech firm. Steady job, decent pay, nothing flashy, but it lets me pay the bills and save a bit. I met Emily about 5 years ago through mutual friends at a barbecue. She was this vibrant, outgoing type, always the life of the party, with big dreams of climbing the corporate ladder in advertising. Me? I'm more the reliable guy in the background, making sure everyone's got a drink and the grill doesn't catch fire. We hit it off surprisingly well. Opposites attract, right? Things moved fast. Within a year, we were living together in a cozy apartment downtown. I was all in from the start, loyal, committed, the whole package. I supported her through everything. When she lost her job 2 years in because her agency downsized, I covered rent and bills without a second thought. We're a team, I'd say. I even turned down a promotion that would have meant relocating to another state because she was just starting a new gig and didn't want the upheaval. Looking back, that was a sacrifice I made without hesitation, picturing a future with her, maybe marriage, kids, the works. Flashback to one night during her unemployment slump. She was curled up on the couch, tears streaming, and I held her, promising, we'll get through this. I've got your back. She'd smile through the sniffles and say I was her rock. Felt good, you know? Like I was building something real. But over time, cracks started showing. Emily had this habit of comparing me to her exes, especially this one guy, Connor. He was her first love from college, charismatic, adventurous, the type who'd whisk her off on spontaneous road trips. Never mind that he'd cheated on her back then and left her heartbroken. She'd bring him up casually, like during movie nights. Connor would have loved this thriller. He was always up for anything exciting. At first, I brushed it off as nostalgia, but it escalated. She'd stay out late with work friends, her phone buzzing at odd hours. I'd ask gently, and she'd snap, "You're being paranoid, Ryan. Not everyone's life is as predictable as yours." Internally, it gnawed at me. I'd lie awake, replaying those comments, feeling this knot of confusion and hurt. Was I really just the safe option? The backup plan? I trusted her, or at least I wanted to. But the signs piled up, perfume that wasn't hers lingering on her clothes, vague excuses about networking events. I didn't snoop, that's not my style. Instead, I tried to step up, planning surprise dates, even suggesting we take that trip she always talked about. But she'd dismiss it. Maybe later, work's crazy. The vulnerability hit hard in those quiet moments alone, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I was enough. It was unfair, this slow emotional erosion, but I held on, hoping it was a phase. Then came the fight that changed everything. It was a Friday night, right before the weekend. We'd planned to grab dinner at our favorite spot, but she came home late, distracted, scrolling through her phone with this secretive smile. I asked what was up, and it spiraled from there. Something trivial about me not being spontaneous enough. Words flew, and in the heat of it, she dropped the bomb. "You're acting like you're entitled to all my time," she huffed, crossing her arms in the living room, her eyes flashing with that smug certainty she got when she thought she had the upper hand. Entitled? Emily, we've been together for years. I just want to know what's going on, I replied, keeping my voice even, though my chest tightened. She laughed, a short, bitter sound that cut deep. "Oh, please. Don't forget that you're not my first choice, just the reliable one. Connor? He was passion, fire. You're the guy who pays the bills and doesn't complain. Safe. Boring. But hey, it works for now. The words landed like a punch. I stood there, staring at her, the room suddenly feeling too small. Her tone was dismissive, like she was stating a fact about the weather. Smug, almost proud of how cleverly she'd twisted the knife. No remorse, just this entitled justification. Everyone has a past, Ryan. You should be grateful I'm here at all. I felt the confusion swirl, vulnerable, exposed, like all my efforts had been a joke to her. But instead of yelling or begging, something clicked. Calm washed over me. Okay, I said simply, my voice steady. She blinked, caught off guard. Okay, that's it. Yeah, okay. I turned and walked to the kitchen, grabbing a glass of water like nothing happened. The fight ended right there. She smirked, probably thinking she'd won, that I'd back down like always. She grabbed her jacket and muttered something about needing air, slamming the door behind her. That night, I didn't sleep much. Her words echoed, not my first choice. It confirmed what I'd suspected, texts I'd glimpsed earlier that week, late-night calls she brushed off as old friends. Connor was back in the picture, or maybe never left. Emotional betrayal at minimum, probably physical too. The hurt was raw, this sense of being undervalued, discarded without a real fight. I sat on the couch in the dark, replaying our good times. Flashback to our anniversary last year, when I surprised her with tickets to a concert, her laughing and hugging me tight. You're the best, she'd said then. Now, just reliable. But I didn't confront her. No dramatic scene. Over the next 3 days, while she acted like everything was fine, smug in her perceived victory, I planned. Saturday, I scouted a short-term rental online, a simple studio across town. Sunday, I packed essentials quietly, clothes, laptop, a few books. Nothing she'd notice missing right away. I arranged to work remotely for a week, citing personal reasons. Internally, the confusion lingered. Why me? Why after all I'd given? But it shifted to resolve. This wasn't fixable. She saw me as a backup. I deserved better. Monday morning, she left for work with a casual "see you later," still oblivious. I loaded my car, heart pounding but mind clear. Before leaving, I wrote the note on the kitchen counter. Now you're not my first choice either. Or my second. Simple, no frills. I left my key, walked out, and drove away. No calls, no texts. Just gone. Her first reaction came via text an hour after she got home. What the hell, Ryan? Where are you? This is childish. Then calls, which I ignored. By evening, voicemails. Come on, we can talk about this. You overreacted. She thought it was a bluff, that I'd crawl back. But I didn't. I settled into the studio, unpacked, and for the first time in months, breathed easy. The silence was deafening at first. The unfairness of it all, her twisted logic making me the villain. I journaled a bit, hit the gym, reconnected with old hobbies like hiking. It hurt, sure. Those quiet nights questioning everything. But I sat with it. No rushing to fix things. Dignity over drama. Mutual friends reached out, confused. Emily says you just vanished. What happened? I kept it vague. We grew apart. Some sided with her initially, feeding her narrative that I was unstable. Her family, toxic bunch, always enabling her, left messages too. Man up and come back. She's upset. But I blocked the noise, focusing inward. The emotional middle dragged. That limbo of processing betrayal without lashing out. It built character, though. Slowly, vulnerability gave way to clarity. I wasn't the problem. That's when things got interesting, or rather, when karma started whispering in the background. But before the downfall, there was the silence. The emotional void I had to navigate. Reddit, if you've been through a breakup like this, you know it's not the dramatic exit that hurts most. It's the aftermath, the sitting with the unfairness. I didn't lash out or seek revenge. I just detached. For weeks, I lived in that studio apartment, a bare-bones place with a lumpy bed and a view of a parking lot. No frills, but it was mine. I threw myself into routines to rebuild. Early morning runs along the river path, coding side projects that I'd shelved for her, even picking up guitar again, something I'd loved in college but dropped because we didn't have time. The confusion lingered like a fog. Why had she said that? Why treat me like a placeholder after all I'd sacrificed? Flashback to last Christmas. I'd scraped together savings for a necklace she'd eyed online, wrapping it with care. Her eyes lit up when she opened it, pulling me into a kiss. You're so thoughtful, Ryan. I don't deserve you. Now those words felt mocking. The betrayal wasn't just emotional. It was the manipulation, the way she'd kept me hooked as her safety net while eyeing Connor. I'd pieced it together from snippets. Mutual friends mentioned seeing her out with him weeks before the fight. Late nights at work were probably dates. It stung, this realization that I'd been the fool, loyal to a fault while she played both sides. But I didn't beg or confront. Dignity meant silence. I ignored her escalating texts. Ryan, this is ridiculous. Come home. Then angrier. Fine, keep your stuff. I don't need you. Her smugness seeped through even digitally, like she expected me to crack. Mutual friends trickled in with messages, some neutral, others echoing her toxicity. One buddy, Mike, called, "Dude, Emily's spinning this like you're the one who bailed without reason. Says you overreacted to a fight." I kept responses short. "It's done." Her sister texted too, all entitled, "Family's worried. You owe her an explanation." Blocked. The unfairness built. Why was I the villain for walking away from disrespect? I sat with it during solo hikes, the trail crunching underfoot, mind racing through the hypocrisy. Her twisted logic. I was reliable, but that made me boring? No, it made me valuable, something she didn't appreciate until too late. Internally, the shift happened gradually. Vulnerability faded, clarity emerged. Therapy helped, a neutral online session where I unpacked the hurt without drama. "You're not defined by her choices," the counselor said. I started thriving quietly, landed a remote freelance gig that paid better, reconnected with old friends who drifted during our relationship. One weekend, I drove out of town for a solo camping trip, tent pitched under stars, no phone signal. It was liberating, this emotional space. No more walking on eggshells. The middle dragged, sure, nights of replaying her words, feeling discarded like yesterday's news. But it deepened the arc. I wasn't rushing to win, I was building. By month 2, her attempts tapered off. She posted vague social media updates about new beginnings, with Connor, all smiles. Friends reported she seemed happy, smug even. "She's moved on," one said. Fine by me. I was too. Then karma hit, and it hit hard. Realistic, earned, without me lifting a finger. It started with whispers from our shared circle. Mike, the same buddy, messaged me out of the blue. "Hey man, you might want to know." Things blew up with Emily and Connor. Turns out, Connor was exactly who I'd suspected. Charismatic on the surface, but unstable underneath. He'd swept her off her feet with promises, weekend getaways, fancy dinners, but it was all facade. He was drowning in debt from bad investments, using her as a crutch. She'd moved in with him quickly, posting about their adventurous life, but cracks showed fast. First, the abuse. Not physical, but emotional. Controlling her schedule, isolating her from friends. She'd complain to mutuals about his jealousy, how he'd flip out over nothing. Then the cheating. Connor got caught with an ex, right in their apartment. Emily walked in on it, apparently. The fallout was messy, screaming matches that spilled into her work life. She was in advertising, remember? Drama like that doesn't stay private. Clients heard rumors, and her performance tanked. She got let go a month later, restructuring they called it, but everyone knew it was the distractions. Broke and humiliated, she crashed on a friend's couch, her new beginnings unraveling into isolation. Friends who defended her started distancing. "She's toxic," one admitted to me. Always playing victim. Her family enabled it at first, but even they backed off when bills piled up. The irony was poetic. She discarded me as just reliable, chasing excitement with Connor. Now he discarded her like a used ticket, leaving her with nothing. She became irrelevant in her own circles, jobless, friendless, scrolling through old photos of us, I imagine. I heard it all secondhand, no gloating on my part. It felt earned, this justice, not over the top, but a natural consequence of her choices. Her reputation tanked too. Social media posts deleted after backlash, whispers at gatherings about how she'd manipulated situations. Meanwhile, I was steady, promoted at work, savings growing, even dating casually. The contrast built quietly, setting the stage for her desperation. That's when her desperation kicked in, progressive, escalating, like a bad sequel no one asked for. At first, it was subtle, a few weeks after her firing. A text popped up. "Ryan, Can we talk? I miss our talks. I stared at it, feeling nothing but mild annoyance. No hurt anymore, just indifference. I didn't respond. Then calls started, voicemails piling up. One evening, my phone rang while I was cooking dinner in my new place. A proper one-bedroom I'd upgraded to after the freelance gigs took off. I let it go to voicemail, but curiosity made me listen later. Hey, it's me. Emily's voice cracked a bit, not her usual smug tone. Look, Connor was a huge mistake. He used me, Ryan. Cheated, left me with nothing. I know I said some awful things, but that was just anger talking. You were always the reliable one, the good one. Please call back. We can fix this. Twisted logic, right? Now I was the good one after being demoted to backup? Hypocrisy at its finest. I deleted it, no reply. But she ramped up. Next day, more texts. I'm sorry, okay? I see now what I lost. You're stable, kind, everything Connor wasn't. Let's meet for coffee. Apologetic, laced with excuses. Still, her words revealed the shift, power reversing, her unraveling while I thrived. Then the in-person attempt. About a month post-downfall, I was grabbing groceries when she showed up at the store, must have gotten my location from a mutual. She looked rough, hair messy, eyes puffy, no trace of that vibrant party girl. Ryan, she called, hurrying over in the produce aisle. I turned calmly, basket in hand. Emily. Her voice trembled, desperate now. Please, hear me out. I was wrong, so wrong. Connor turned out to be abusive, controlling everything. He isolated me, cheated with his ex. I lost my job because of the stress. Clients bailed. I'm crashing on Lisa's couch, scraping by on freelance that's drying up. But you were my rock. I realize that now. Can we try again? I'll change. I set down an apple, voice firm and even. No. She blinked, face flushing. What? After everything? I said I'm sorry. You owe me a chance. You just left with that note, like I meant nothing. Oh her. The entitlement boiled over. You made your choice, Emily. Connor was the passion, I was just reliable. Remember? But that was a fight. People say stupid things. You're being cruel now. I shook my head, no emotion. I'm being done. Good luck. I walked away, her calling after me, but I didn't look back. It didn't stop. She got toxic friends and family involved. Her sister ambushed me with a call. Emily's a mess because of you. She cries every night. Be a man. Forgive her. Family sticks together. Blocked. A guy friend, Tom, messaged, dude, she's desperate. Connor wrecked her. Abusive texts drained her savings. Give her closure at least. I replied curtly. She had her closure with that first choice line. Even her mom emailed, all unpleasant. You've humiliated her enough. Come back or you're no better than Connor. The pressure was unreal, their toxicity mirroring hers, enabling, demanding, no accountability. By now, her attempts turned angry. A final voicemail. Fine, ignore me. You're heartless, Ryan. I thought you were better, but you're just petty. Enjoy your boring life alone. Click. Power reversal complete. Her true colors, lashing out when desperation failed. I blocked her everywhere, the silence golden. No sympathy from me. She'd earned this isolation. My life. Thriving. New projects, a budding interest in photography from those hikes, even a date or two with someone genuine. The emotional freedom was real. She'd become irrelevant. Fast forward a few months to our mutual friend Mike's birthday party, a casual backyard gathering at his place on the outskirts of town. I debated going, knowing she might show, but why hide? I'd moved on completely, promoted to senior dev, traveling for fun, and yeah, seeing someone new. Nora, a kind, adventurous woman I'd met through a hiking group. We clicked without the drama. She appreciated reliability as strength, not boredom. The party was lively, string lights, barbecue smoke, laughter. I arrived with Nora, hand in hand, feeling at peace. Mutuals greeted me warmly. Word had spread about Emily's side, and most had shifted allegiance after seeing her hypocrisy. Then, there she was, Emily, across the yard, looking even more worn, nursing a drink alone. Our eyes met. She approached hesitantly, desperation etched on her face. Nora sensed it, squeezing my hand supportively. Ryan. Emily started, voice low but urgent. I didn't expect. Can we talk? Privately. I nodded politely, stepping aside but keeping it public. No secrets. Nora stayed nearby, a quiet upgrade on display. Emily's eyes flicked to her, then back. Who's that? Someone who sees me as first choice, I said calmly. She winced. Okay, I deserve that. Look, I'm sorry for everything. Connor was a nightmare. He left me broke, alone. Friends ditched me after the truth came out. I see now. You were the best thing I had. Please, give us another shot. I'll prove it. Her plea hung there, hypocritical, begging after dismissing me. I mirrored her logic back, firm and evolved. Remember what you said? I wasn't your first choice, just reliable. Well, now you're not mine. Or my second. I've built a life without you. Better job, real connections, someone who values me fully. I gestured subtly to Nora, the contrast stark. Me thriving, her desperate. Tears welled. But I learned from this. Don't you care at all? I learned too, to choose myself. You're irrelevant to my happiness now. Take care, Emily. Detached, no punishment, just facts. She stood there, powerless, as I walked back to Nora and the group. Mutuals whispered. One even said, "Good for you, man." The visual reversal hit her hard. My growth on display, her failure public. That was it. No more contact. Emotional closure, ironic and earned. Reddit. If you're in a similar spot, remember, dignity wins. Walk away, build up, let karma handle the rest. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.